solve. The square root of 2x equals the square root of x plus 1 plus 1. Now, when we have two radical expressions, what we need to do is isolate one of them, and we already have, and then square both sides. So we'll take this expression and square it, and then put parentheses around the entire right-hand side and square it. Now, the square root of 2x squared is 2x. On the right-hand side, we have a binomial squared. So we have the square root of x plus 1 squared. Well, the square root of x plus 1 squared is x plus 1. Then we have twice the product here, so that would be 2 times 1, which is 2, times the square root of x plus 1, plus the second term squared. 1 squared is 1. We still have a radical expression, and we want to isolate that. So to do that, we need to subtract the x from each side, and then this is 1 plus 1, which is 2, so we need to subtract 2 from both sides. 2x minus x is x. There's no constant here from which we'll subtract 2, so that would be x minus 2. That's equal to 2 times the square root of x plus 1. Now we square both sides again. So we have the quantity x minus 2 squared and the quantity 2 times the square root of x plus 1 squared. On the left-hand side, it's a binomial squared. That becomes the first term squared, x squared, minus twice the product of the two terms, 2 times 2x, then plus the second term squared, 2 squared. This is equal to, now the 2 gets squared, so that's 4. The square root of x plus 1 squared is just x plus 1. Simplifying on each side, x squared remains as is. 2 times 2 is minus 4 times x. 2 squared is 4, so plus 4. On the right-hand side, we distribute the 4, giving us the result 4x plus 4. Since it's a quadratic equation, the x squared, we need to combine everything on one side, so let's subtract 4x and subtract 4 from both sides. So that would be x squared minus 4x is minus 8x. 4 minus the 4 is 0. And of course, on the right-hand side, we subtract 4x and 4, so we get 0. Now, we factor the left-hand side, x times x minus 8, and that's equal to 0. And now we use the zero factor property to say x equals 0 or x minus 8 equals 0. This equation is already solved, but let me bring it down one line. So we have x equals 0, or in this equation we add 8 to both sides, giving us the result x equals 8. And now, because it's a radical equation, we need to check both of these answers. So let's do that. We'll start with checking x equals 0. We need to substitute that into the original equation, which is the square root of 2x equals the square root of x plus 1 plus 1. Substituting in 0, we have the square root of 2 times 0 equals question mark, the square root of 0 plus 1 plus 1. 2 times 0 is 0. The square root of 0 is 0. And we want to know, does that equal, on the right-hand side, 0 plus 1 is 1. The square root of 1 is 1. Plus 1 is actually equal to 2. So 0 does not equal 2. Therefore, it's, of course, false. And that tells us that x equals 0 does not check. We also need to check x equals 8. Substituting that in, we have the square root of 2 times 8 equals question mark, the square root of 8 plus 1 plus 1. On the left-hand side, 2 times 8 is 16. The square root of 16 is 4. 8 plus 1 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. And of course, 4 does equal 3 plus 1. Therefore, the answer x equals 8 checks. Now, since 0 did not check, the only solution is 8.